Welcome everybody to ATS Live Ask Us Anything. I'm not exactly sure what week in a row this is, but I think we've been being pretty consistent and making these things happen every Thursday at 11 o'clock. So usually at the beginning, we're kind of waiting for folks to join us, but I'd like to introduce myself, which is Joe Goering, Vice President of Recruiting here at Anderson Trucking. And Robbie, you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Robbie Schaefer. I've been a driver consultant here for now about 7 years, and excited to be doing this every week, and excited to spend the next 30 minutes with you.
And Sam, I'm going to bring you in. So
Yeah.
this is our specialist that makes sure that if the old farts that are on camera right now have any problems, she can help get us fixed really quick. So,
Absolutely. Thank you.
So everybody today, we continue to have some pretty exciting things to be talking about, and I'm going to say that right now, I'm going to do this. You want to turn that off? We're going to be talking a little bit more about kind of the forecasts. Robbie and I were talking earlier in the week about what we thought. Some of the topics were, we've been doing some polling and asking drivers to basically come on board and tell us what they'd like to hear about. So market conditions have never been stronger. Robbie, anything that we want to kind of jump to kick us off with this?
Yeah, I was just looking at the numbers. I've been doing this, like I said, 7 years, and I've never seen numbers like this. These and what we sell is basically an average range, because there are differences in what you do out there as a driver. The drivers that are willing to stay out a little longer, maybe manage their time a little better, they're going to be towards the higher end of the averages. So some of the averages I'm seeing are numbers like I said I've never seen before in my life. Give you an example. We've got company flatbed drivers with an average range of $1,800 to $2,400 a week. That's a company. I just can't say that enough. Company flatbed driver.
Right. And you guys, ATS has always been known. I mean, I've been doing recruiting. I've been with ATS for over 30 years and responsible for recruiting the last 9. We've always been a top pay carrier, but like Robbie just said, the numbers we've been seeing over the last, frankly, not even just the last 12 weeks, the entire portion of 2021, and the forecast our sales department is telling that we've got going through the rest of 2021 into the third quarter of 2022 of contracts that have already been locked in for us. So for me, it's very exciting to see not only that the business is strong, but these dollars are clearly passing down to our drivers right now. And right now, we're just going to keep kind of chatting a little bit about the state of the union at ATS until we get a few more questions that are coming up. And everybody, I stress this probably not less than 10 times during each one of these. We are here for you. So when we say ask us anything, there's not a question that you can present to us that we won't take the time to make sure that we're talking through and give you an answer for. So until a couple of those questions come up, let's probably just stay on topic.
Yeah, I got a couple other things. I touched on the company side, and this was just flatbed. And on the lease side, that average range right now is somewhere between $2,400 and $3,200 a week after expenses. These are numbers like we've never seen before, and this is our average range, people. I've been doing this for ATS has been doing this for 68 years, and a lot has happened in the last year. Everybody's aware of what's going on and what we're coming out of. And if ATS has proved one thing, is that they're adaptable. And because in 2020, we set a record for revenue as a company in the middle of a pandemic. And that translated to bigger numbers for our drivers. And now that we're coming out of that and coming into the good freight season right now, actually, that combination, these numbers are exploding. And it has to do with all the work ATS has done for 68 years.
Correct. And one of the probably the bigger things, and I want to be able to talk to a broader vision here, but we do believe that ATS is set up to make any driver that's got a Class A CDL to where they've got a career path specific to them. When you think about it, we've got a flatbed specialized division, we've got a dry van division, we've got a heavy haul division, and in both of those groups, you can either be a lease driver with us, you can be a company driver with us, or you can bring your own truck on board and be an owner operator with us. So the options for career paths and being very basically honing to get in to each and every unique driver on what their career needs are. We don't fit everybody into a box. Basically, we have the full deck of cards as far as all of those options. So we're proud of that, but it also allows us to be the house carrier for so many of our customers. And Robbie, maybe talk a little bit about the types of customer we have. Meaning the difference between a small, medium, and large type customer?
Yeah, no, and these are all very important things. Joe talked about being a house carrier, and what that means is that we've got these as customer contracts, and what we do is about 70% of what we do is spot bid with those company contracts, and that's allowed us to capitalize on a good market when the market's solid like it is now, and that relates to these numbers that I just shared on our average drivers. Those customers, it's long-term customer contracts. I think about back to 68 years ago when Harold first started hauling freight, and he hauled for a company here local, and we still haul freight for that very same customer.
Right.
68-year relationship. That's what ATS does, is build those long-term customer relationships. And relationships are important across the board, not just with the customers, but also with the drivers, vendors, everybody. So it's a great organization to be a part of.
Well, hey, David, I appreciate your question. And again, we love getting these questions thrown out to us. So listen, here's the thing. I've been with ATS on the sales side as well as operations. I'm now recruiting. We've done some reefer business in the past. So, we've dabbled in Conestogas. We've dabbled in reefers. Our core customers are the industries that we're in, really doesn't call for it. And when we do have a customer that has a reefer need, we've actually purchased reefers exclusively for that customer. But are we looking to go out and get into that industry? I've not heard talks that's anything that's strong. I think it's really if there's a need and a customer comes to us saying, hey, can you basically support us? We've done that. But again, we've only dabbled in those. We'd rather keep our focus in the industries that we're in, and that's the flatbed, the van. And again, for now, I'm not hearing anything about us deciding to get into the reefer side of the business.
Yep, and there's, I think back to when we did the dry van crane division.
Mm-hmm.
So, when customers require something, ask for something, sure, we're going to look into those things. But like Joe said, there's no long-term future for that as far as in the plans.
Right. So again, David, thanks for the question, and group, remember, if questions aren't coming in, all you're doing is pretty much listening to the two of us talk. And I'd rather address the questions coming in. That's the real purpose of what we're doing with these ATS live sessions. So a couple of things to just bring up. So one of the things, talking about the stability of our freight, to give you guys a sense of how good the freight market really is, our upside pay program, we've made some pay changes recently to where our company drivers also now get rewarded with being paid percentage if that load is paying greater. Obviously, our contractors are absolutely seeing the benefits. And we're going to talk some numbers. So, Robbie, I'm going to probably in a couple minutes have you kind of just go through what those percentiles are for each division. Yep. And they're all pretty darn close. And so whether you're pulling an open deck flatbed or you're doing a closed dry van, the earning potential on both sides are extremely strong right now. But right now we're almost at $2.60 all miles with ATS right now. That's an incredibly good number. And again, some of the pieces of information that was fed down to us is that with the diversity of our customers that Robbie was just talking about, the spot market and the percentage. Did you talk about that already?
I did. Yeah, I touched on that briefly. Joe talked about the diversity, and that's what allows us to be good. Like in 2020, when the markets were off for so many things, ATS as a whole and our drivers both did well because of the diversity in the business model ATS has. That is a direct benefit to the driver and everybody affiliated with ATS.
Well, and kind of coming into it, the word centralized dispatch, part of what we said we're going to talk about today, if the time allowed, was to talk a little bit about how we're set up with how our fleet managers are geared and trained to be second to none to support their drivers on their fleet boards. But the centralized dispatch system that we have right now, our goal right now is to make sure that every time that you're getting dispatched, that when you're within a day of delivering that load, that you're getting a minimum of 3 different load offers. It's not, can we find you a load? It's making sure that the fleet managers are tasked with making sure that we're giving multiple load offers to each driver based on what they're looking for. So it just really simplifies it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and a very important part of what that relationship means is it means money in your pocket, and how we help make that better, allow that to grow, is by limiting the number of drivers that a fleet manager has. I've heard of companies going as high as 100 on a board, or I've heard of multiple fleet managers managing many drivers. And here at ATS, we 30 is that goal, and that allows that fleet manager to develop a relationship with their driver. They get to know their driver, what the driver likes, what the driver wants, the driver cycles. The driver gets to know what the fleet manager is looking for. And that positive relationship allows ATS driver to be even more successful.
Well, and I want to talk straight. Our fleet managers, the biggest thing that they're incentivized on, I mean, strategically, when it comes to how we're set up, their biggest thing that they're looked at is are they making our drivers money? So if you're on our fleet, the number one thing that they're measured on is, did they make their drivers money? And second after that, we've talked about the three-legged stool, but basically what you're getting as far as earnings go, we never take our eye off of that, making sure that we're meeting any of the home time requests that you put in and always treating with your respect. There's so many things about the requirements that you guys have and what you'd like to see with an organization, but we work very hard in a strategic level to make sure that we can keep our eyes on those three things, and it's globally throughout the entire organization.
Yeah, and those three things, as a driver recruiter, driver consultant, when I'm talking to, I talk to a lot of people that are exploring career opportunities, and the biggest complaint I always hear, always comes back to one of those three legs. You can make all the money in the world, get home every weekend, but if you're treated badly, you're not going to stay very long. You can be treated wonderful, get home every weekend, but not make any money, you're not going to stay very long. And so ATS from the top on down, the focus has always been that three-legged stool, and it's been a successful partnership with the driver to be able to keep our turnover down.
Right. We do pay attention to that. So in our job, to make sure that we're filling any empty assets that we have with the highest quality, we believe that we're finding the top 5% of the drivers that are out there. We probably got the hardest hiring guidelines, and I know that that's frustrating for some folks. But right, Robbie?
That's right.
And Robbie will be the first to tell you that he's got to talk to about 100 drivers to be able to consider probably 5 or 6 of them. And at the end of the day, we ended up bringing just under 2% into orientation. So we are looking for the folks that are extremely safety focused, because this customer base that you heard us talking about, that wasn't given to us by any means. Our safety rating, over 50% of our drivers have got a 0 CSA score. So we really try to embrace that behavior with all the new drivers. I met our group of lease drivers up here at our corporate office yesterday morning, and a couple of them pulled me out to the side afterwards, and they're saying, never have we seen an organization to where the owner came in to greet, to where you came in to greet, to where both the president and I think it was Jim Anderson who does the history statement, but having so many of the owners and the senior leadership team engaging with the new drivers in orientation right away at the beginning. We have an open door policy here. We always have. And if you're an active driver, and a lot of times we have a lot of drivers that are joining us, which I always appreciate, because you guys can kind of step in and add anything that maybe we've missed. But here you're not a number. When you come into the corporate office, same thing with the fleet management. When we talk about respect, you sign in just for your own safety. We got to know that if we have any kind of a situation that we got to know who's in that building. But once you're signed in through the safety department, you can walk directly to our chairman's office. You can walk and go to talk to Robbie, come and talk to me, go talk to your fleet manager, not having to set appointments. All of those things, make a difference in our opinion, but they all fall under the respect part of what you heard us talking about earlier.
Yep, and Joe talked about what it takes for us as consultants to get to those people that we're bringing on to ATS, and a lot of people in the industry don't understand that safety part. The safety part as a company is such a huge deal. For other companies, it's not, and it may not be because they're running brokered freight. They just grab freight off the load boards. And with us being this direct customer contract company, being the house carrier for so many companies, it it is highly important that we not only bring in drivers that have had safe history in the past, but show that they'll be safe drivers moving forward. So David, I see your question there about the averages for vans. So I'm going to look that up here. Joe's going to talk for a minute. I'm going to look that up and then I'm coming back to you, David.
Fantastic. Actually, I think what we're going to do, David, just for simplicity here, is we've actually brought our last, I think it's now 18-week average as far as what the earnings are. But the last 12 weeks, the numbers are crazy. So I'm going to actually have Robbie kind of go through the ranges, and for clarity, there's not one driver that makes the same amount as the next. So if you're running longer, if you're out 3 weeks at a time instead of 2 weeks at a time, if you're out 4 weeks at a time, there are variables. Some folks don't like to run as hard as others, and they can still make a very good paycheck. So the numbers that Robbie's going to go through with you right now is basically based on, I believe it's our
20 to 70.
Yeah, our 20 percentile up to our 70 percentile. So basically, when we talk about the 70 percentile, 70% of our fleet is making that amount of money, and then the 20 percentile is kind of saying the range goes up to this number. So you have an idea that you're going to fall somewhere within there. If you're working a little less hard, you might be on the 70 percentile, and if you're out working a lot harder, or the freight conditions where you're at are just fantastic, it could be that 20 percentile.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's important to note that we have drivers that make more than this. And then there's drivers that make less. So this is our average range. And David, just to give you an example, our lease drivers right now, the average range, these are crazy numbers, $2,100 to $2,700 a week after expenses. That's an average lease driver that's staying out in that 14 to 21 days.
And that's after truck payment. That's after your maintenance funds, fuel, and everything else. This is the range that the lease contractors are making on the van division.
And to be clear, that's the OTR drivers. We've got a southeast region as well. Very limited area. It's the southeast. But even those southeast drivers staying down there, average range for $1,500 to $1,900 a week.
And that's getting home every weekend. And how about the Midwest side?
Yep. So the Midwest lease guys, wow, $1,900 to $2,400 a week. And that's most of that's a weekly home time. Like I said, and I can't say it enough, these are numbers I have not seen in 7 years.
And we are being told by our sales department, these numbers are not going down. That the spot market, geez, come on, help me. The spot market rates are not going to be dropping down. And I think Robbie told you earlier, about a little over 70% of the freight that we're quoting is on a spot market. It's not contract rates. So that's major in our favor. And think about it is if the price of fuel continues to be at $70 a barrel, that might mean something to you, but it means a big deal if you're in the trucking industry. That's only going to continue to help us.
Yep, absolutely. And then David, one last thing here, our company van drivers. The average range right now, $1,500 to just shy of $2,000 a week for a company van driver. That's 14 days out, 3 days home. Drivers that are doing that are in this average range.
Why don't you go ahead and cover the flatbed company too, because then that way we've kind of covered the ranges on pretty much all the operating units.
I know I brought it up earlier. Both these company van and company flatbed are averaging 75 cents a mile. I gotta find it, Joe.
No sweat. I
hit it.
I think I know what it is by heart. But so you guys, at the end of the day, what we're the most excited about is we've always tried to get to a minimum number for any of our drivers to be at least at that $1,500 a week after expense level. Right now, our company drivers are above that range, and I'm guessing you found it.
Yep. So company van again is the 1,500 to just shy of 2,000 a week. The company flatbed average, company flatbed, $1,800 to $2,400 a week.
Right. So, and what we're excited about is that we're able to close that gap. That's why we created this upside pay program, because we want to know that our company drivers have the same opportunity to make some additional money right now, especially with the market conditions as good as they are. So this upside program that you've heard about, it really means nothing to you, but all it really means for us is that you as a driver, sometimes if it's a low paying load, you're always going to be guaranteed that minimum CPM. But with the way the rates are right now, and us paying you 28% of the revenue, that average is bringing across the board at 75 cents or greater. 75 is the average across the board. We got drivers that are in the 80 cents per mile. I heard a driver yesterday say that he made 92 cents in his week prior. So it's
Company.
on the company side.
I like David.
Hey, so David, no, don't be foolish, because my friend, if our company drivers are doing that well, and the percentage that I know that you guys are making, no, keep getting paid your percentage and operating that lease truck, because I think you would agree. You guys on the lease side are doing extremely well right now too. I just love talking to our drivers when it comes to the settlement checks, because I'm getting a whole lot of phone calls on the side.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun over the last year or so, talking to our drivers, and because we talk to our drivers. It's not as a driver consultant recruiter, it's not okay. I got you in class. Good luck. I talk to drivers on a regular basis. All of us recruiters do, and these are fun conversations now to hear. Thank you so much. I've never made this much money before in my life, and to hear that on a more regular basis has been a lot of fun. Joe talked about the upside pay, and I can't stress that enough. There's other companies out there that now are calling us to try to figure out what the program is all about. And the way I break it down for drivers now is basically, you can look at it this way: you're making 28% of the load with a Protect. You'll never make less than either 50 or 55 cents a mile. And where that's important is other companies pay you 24, 25, maybe even 28%. But if the load doesn't pay very much, you might end up on a load where you made 20 cents a mile. It's tough to go home with a $600 or $700 paycheck when you've been out for 2 weeks. So,
And the bottom line, folks, I don't care about somebody paying you 85 cents a mile. If that 85 cents a mile is not making you the money that we're telling you, we love talking about our weekly earnings, because at the end of the day, how you're paid is what it is. What does that equal for you as far as the money you're taking home in your pocket? That's what I don't hear many other companies talking about. They're putting out their CPM or whatever the percentage is. We're trying to tell you that what our program is, but what that means to you at the end of that week when you're sending in your settlement paperwork.
Yep, and at the end of the day, this really, this short segment we do every Thursday is ask us questions. So that doesn't end at the 30-minute mark. So we monitor this. We understand you're driving now. You click on this. It's 7 o'clock at night. Send a message or send a comment, question. We will monitor and answer those questions, and we invite any and all questions,
Exactly.
or comments.
Well, and like Robbie just said, we are monitoring this, and we know what we've found now, because I think this is probably our 9th week in a row of doing this every Thursday at 11 o'clock. I just want to remind everybody, you'll probably be getting emails out. The purpose of this is for drivers that are looking to come to ATS and making sure that they can do their research. I always thank the active drivers that are online, just like with you, David, to basically help us reinforcing some of the things that we've said. And frankly, a lot of times we find out after the ATS live sessions that some of the drivers that we're watching are connecting with one of you. So I can't thank you guys enough for participating in these events with us. We do have a evening one coming up. Once a month, we do a Wednesday night a ATS live, same format. We tend to get a lot more people attending because it's just more convenient. So these ones that we do at 11 o'clock are nice for sharing, and you can look at them later and throw a couple of questions out. But feel free to join us next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. We're going to really get into some of the things with contractor services, with settlements. We're going to have a guest with us kind of going through what that really means to the driver. But you guys all are crystal clear that, sending in your paperwork, how quickly can you get paid? Well, we've got things like rapid pay to where you can get paid faster than just on a weekly basis.
Yep.
We just got so many cool programs. Our ATS mobile app that's been created a couple of years ago that really manages your business at a touch of the hat. The technology that we're putting into there is fantastic. Samantha, thank you very much. We know that there's a lot of folks that don't do Facebook, and we're trying to find other areas. So, we're putting some of this stuff out on YouTube. But if I understand the question right, where do you want to watch live streams? Okay, so Twitch. I'm an old guy. I'm the gray-haired 30-year vet here, so I don't know half of these things, but I guess there's something out there called Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. The last three I know really clear. But for non-Facebook users, we'd love to get some comments back. So if you're watching this after this live event, and if you've got a recommendation for us, we want to know what platforms are going to work best. So again, Facebook is what we're starting with, but we're looking into Twitch, we're looking at Instagram, we're doing some stuff with YouTube. If there's anything else out there that we've missed, tell us what platform is most convenient and probably better used by you as the driver. So that would be extremely helpful for us, because if we're going to do this, the entire purpose is to be here to answer questions. And thank God, David, that you came on board, because it's kind of a quiet morning for us today.
Yeah, and that's okay. Here's the deal. If you're a prospective driver looking at ATS, we do ask that you pick up the phone and give us a call. However, if you're in the process of doing the research, and so the next time you're at a truck stop and you see an ATS driver, I challenge you to grab one. Just start asking them questions. You're going to find out quickly when you talk to multiple ATS drivers that three-legged stool is something that permeates throughout the company.
Yeah, and David, I want to tell you, so first off, thank you for the referrals. What I'm most proud of is that the majority of our trucks get filled because of word of mouth with our drivers. And so we try to do it right. We don't do it all right, but when we find out we didn't do something right, we look into it and we try to fix it and make it right. So
that's important, Joe. We strive to be better than most, do more things better than everybody else. We're not conceited and think that we're a perfect company. There is no perfect company for every driver. There is no perfect fit for every driver. But we do try to do more things better than anybody else.
And I want to just add, TikTok, got it loud and clear. I think that's probably on the list as well. So I got to have the smart marketing people help me, like Samantha, who's here with us. And actually Samantha's the one who's asking for some input. So at the end of the day, just want to thank everybody. We're coming toward the end of it. When there's questions coming in, we stay on as long as the questions are there. But again, we just wanted to talk a little bit about what the pipeline is looking like. 2021 is going to continue to be fantastic. What I love to hear is that the freight is booked into the third quarter of 2022. So this is not a 1 or a 2 month blip. These contracts are locked in, and the freight. What's great about the COVID stuff finally loosening up a little bit, all the manufacturers are so backlogged with supply. We need to get our fleet back up, but we got to get it back up with the right drivers that are looking for a professional home to come to. We're not just looking to fill a seat. We're looking for those long-term drivers. And just so you guys know, the average tenure of our drivers is over 5 years, and I just nothing makes me happier. That means we got a whole lot of 30 years in there, and we still got a couple of them that end up leaving after a month or two. But across the board, 5.7 years I think is the exact number.
Yep, and that should tell you everything you need to know about a company. Ask them what their average is, and if it's not 5.7 years, give us a call.
Good deal. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up real quick. I don't have any outstanding questions right now, but stressing again, if you're watching this after the fact and you've got questions, put them out there. We're watching it, monitoring it. We get a notification the minute that something comes up with a comment, and we will respond to you. Come and see us on drive4ats.com on our website. Go to our Facebook page, which you're currently on, obviously, ding ding. So Drive for ATS is where we're at. My name is Joe. Robbie, want to thank you for joining me today.
It's been a pleasure.
And for all of our active ATS drivers, just again, thank you so much for joining with us today. And for anybody who's considering ATS, watching this right now, thanks for taking the time. We really want you to do your research first, know what you're getting into. Reach out to the drivers that are on our Drive for ATS Facebook page. They'll be more than happy to engage with you directly as well. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. When we refer a driver, do we still get the bonus? Hey, buddy. Dave, we'll talk to you about the driver referral program offline. I'll be glad to give you a call. We got one heck of a good program out there, and I think you know how that works. But it's all through your HS driver app. But I will personally give you a call. All right. All right, everybody. Anything else?
No, we're good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us today.